Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Straight Edge Tiki, and today I have my really good friend Joel with me, and we are in his basement gym. And the reason why we're in his gym is we actually work out pretty religiously
Every Wednesday,
and we've been working out here since 2020.
Yeah.
So in through and out the COVID, and when you talk about your bubbles that you have, well, Joel's part of my bubble. And, we both try to, stay in shape and that's why we're doing it,
Yeah.
And, well, as you all know that, I quit drinking. I haven't drank in a year now. But Joel, you're doing these, what are they, programs, challenges?
Yeah, I was doing what's called 75 Hard. It's probably something that people have heard of. It's pretty big out on the internet.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I got sick in the middle of it and had to stop. But I do plan on getting back on it. But one of the arms of the 75 Hard challenge is that you don't drink alcohol.
Yeah.
For the period of the 75 days, and I haven't been drinking all of January as it is, doing the dry January.
Yeah. Yeah, and before this, you were doing a different thing.
Well, the 75 Hard is what I was doing before.
So you're doing it again.
It's essentially the same kind of thing, basically.
So the interesting thing about Joel is that he's not like me, where he's sworn off alcohol for the rest of his life, but he definitely has had periods where you're like, I'm not drinking.
Yeah, I definitely have. I'm getting close to 50 years old, and I don't recover the same way that I used to when I was younger, and it definitely is taking a bit of a toll. When I do drink too much, I can tell. Yeah. One of the things that I've noticed is that I have a Fitbit, and it records your sleep and your recovery.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I notice is when I take a period of time off of alcohol, my recovery figures, my recovery numbers are significantly better for that period of time, and it's not even a contest. So, because I have these fitness goals and things along those lines, I think it makes sense to do my best to limit the amount of alcohol that I'm taking in generally.
Yeah, yeah, and Joel has actually got it. I think you were part of the first couple Welcome to Rum videos.
I was, yes.
Yeah, yes. So you've been, and actually, when we did those videos, you were just starting to get into rum and tiki cocktails.
That's right.
And then it was kind of cool because then afterwards you started getting into making the cocktails and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I've been Joel's guinea pig many times. But so the question that I have today is more. I'm not asking Joel. Well, I'll ask you if you want. But the question is do I miss the buzz? And the more I thought about this question, the more it brings up other questions, and it made me question about why was I drinking anyway? And this is what I came up with. This is what I thought. Well, how important is the effects of the alcohol?
Mm-hmm.
And or what's more important, Joel? What do you think? The taste, like a good tasting cocktail. And the reason why I ask you this is because you are really getting into new cocktails, trying new things. Mm-hmm. And what was your goal when you were making these cocktails and trying them?
Sure. Well, the kind of the whole craft cocktail revival, I think, has been really cool for for drinkers everywhere. For the longest time, I was just a regular bar drinker. I drank vodka tonics and things along those lines, and so it wasn't really, and all through my college career and everything, it was always cheap well drinks and things along those lines, beer and wine, and I don't know. There's just something magical about a well-crafted cocktail.
Yes.
It becomes so much more than the sum of its parts. It really is alchemy. You're creating something that doesn't exist until you've taken all of these ingredients, and sometimes in very fine proportions, to really come up with something that can be amazing. And once I discovered that, I realized, what the world of choices were, and there's so many interesting flavors and things and combinations you can put together. And so it really became very fun, a fun part of it. But realistically speaking, that's not something that you couldn't have done with non-alcoholic ingredients. And so it was, for me, it's kind of a combination of the two. There's that interesting aspect of it, but there's also what does alcohol do for you when you're drinking it? Yeah. And we all know that alcohol is a social lubricant. It helps you loosen up. It makes it easier in social situations. I'm a big fan of karaoke. Yeah. It makes that a lot easier too. I don't need it to karaoke, but it helps. Alcohol's just it is a good time. Yeah. And so for sure, how it makes me feel and what it does to you in the moment is a big part of what makes it fun. Yeah. There are great non-alcoholic cocktails out there. You can have those and you can enjoy them. But realistically speaking, I don't know that I'm going out of my way to go out to the bar down the street to have a non-alcoholic cocktail for that purpose. Whereas I might go do that and say for a great craft cocktail. Yeah. That might be something I'd be driven to do.
Now, I'm going to answer the question myself. And the answer is, it's been a year now since I've drank. And I don't miss the buzz. And then, and I don't think let's just say this, Joe. It's been a long time since that mattered to me. Mm. Like when I was younger, and when I mean younger, I mean like my 30s.
For sure. Well, you're drinking with a purpose.
I was drinking with a purpose, and the idea was like, we're going to go out and we're going to get loaded, Yeah. And that was part of the deal. And when I drank Tiki drinks, it was kind of like an after effect of it. I'm like, I want to try all these different Tiki drinks, and then, of course, I'm going to get drunk or whatever with it. But I don't think with any of that time, even when I was drinking, that was the goal for me. Where I'm like, I'm going to go to the bar and I'm going to drink a Mai Tai, I'm going to drink a Navy grog, and my main purpose is to get wasted.
Right. There are far less expensive ways to get wasted than drinking $20 drinks. If that's your goal, there are much easier ways to get there. There's a lot to those, like I said, Tiki cocktails in particular. There's so much variety and so much interesting stuff going on in those that, you really have to enjoy them. And that's part of the issue is that they're very easy to enjoy.
Yeah. So now I'm experimenting with like non-alcoholic spirits. Mm-hmm. And my mileage may vary depending on the different ones that we have. I'm a really, really big fan of Ritual Rum Alternative. Mm-hmm. And you've tried it.
I have.
And it's like, I like it, it's good, but it doesn't taste like rum.
It's not rum. It's for sure.
Yeah, a lot of the non-alcoholic spirits, some of them taste good for what they are, but they're not replicating.
Right.
Yeah.
They're their own thing.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. We're kind of this whole thing is in its infancy. Even with non-alcoholic beers, like a couple of years ago, you had O'Doul's.
Right. Which is terrible.
Yeah, and I think Heineken had a fake beer. And now most of the big beer companies have non-alcoholic beers. And I haven't tried any of them. But I have friends that are like, it tastes pretty much like a regular beer.
Yeah, there's some fantastic ones out there right now. Just in the past couple of years, I can't tell you what they are off the top of my head. I know what they are when I go to the bar, and if I'm not drinking at the time, they're very passable. In fact, if you didn't know, you wouldn't know. There's some very good ones right now, which, like you said, was not an option in the past. It was really you didn't have that availability. So it's possible that spirits are going to kind of run that same track. They may get to the point where they're going to get better and closer. Yeah. I think some of the obviously there are some things that are very difficult to replicate when it comes to non-alcoholic spirits. Kind of the burn, the sensation, the viscosity, that kind of stuff, the depth of flavor, and just whiskey is a very distinct flavor.
Yeah.
And I think it's just one of those things that would be, I don't know how you could possibly do it without having that alcoholic content to it and make it believable.
Well, there's one called Kentucky 74, which I'll bring down a bottle for us to mess around with. That kind of tastes like whiskey. Watered down, so to speak. But it has the taste. And supposedly they're doing something where it was actually whiskey, and then somehow they did some kind of a process where they took the alcohol out or something like that.
Mm-hmm. So you get some of the essence of the real whiskey flavor. I'm like I said, I'm on board. If they can do it and they can replicate it, fantastic. I guess part of the thing you have to ask yourself is why.
Well, let's talk about that. Okay, well, what's your favorite tiki cocktail?
I'm a big fan of like a Jungle Bird is probably one of my favorites.
Jungle Bird.
Yeah.
Okay, so say hypothetically you're able to, okay, here's 2 Jungle Birds in front of you. Mm-hmm. One's a real one, but one is completely non-alcoholic, right? Mm-hmm. And say hypothetically they both taste the same.
Okay.
For the most part.
Sure.
Why would you pick one or the other? Or
I think in that it's going to be contextual. What's the situation that you're dealing with? If you're going, one of the obvious reasons that you shouldn't be drinking is if you're going to be driving. And so if you know that you're going to be drinking and you're going to be driving, then that is a perfect opportunity, especially if you're going out to be social and hang out with your friends at a bar.
Yeah.
That's a perfect opportunity to have one of those non-alcoholic cocktails if you know that you're going to be on the road. If you've got a designated driver, then you don't get the added benefits that the alcohol brings with it.
Yeah.
But you also don't get the negative effects that come with the alcohol the next morning, for example, or down the road in your life if the reality is that stuff is poison and it's doing bad things to your body, and so it's kind of a trade-off. Is it worth it? And so it depends on the situation. If I were just sitting at home by myself and had nowhere to go, would I make myself a non-alcoholic Jungle Bird
when you can make a real one?
When I could make a real one? Probably not.
Yeah.
Unless I was doing something like that where I'm just completely avoiding alcohol, and I still enjoy the process. There's something to making the cocktail and going through and trying to get it just right and just so that's really enjoyable. It's a lot of fun, but just for refreshment purposes, it's good. But I could open a soda or something like that much easier, and
see, that's the thing that really makes me think, because it's like. For me, if there was a non-alcoholic version of anything, give me the non-alcoholic version, because I don't want to drink the alcoholic version. But say hypothetically, if I was drinking, it's so weird to think, because it's like, why would you drink the non-alcoholic one when you can drink the real one? And then it brings me back to the question of like, because you want to get a buzz on.
Sure.
And it's just like, how important is that?
So,
or maybe is it a subconscious thing, or
humankind has been trying to alter their mental state for eternity.
Yeah.
It's part of the human condition.
Yeah.
There's different ways to do it. Alcohol is one of those ways. It's part of what humans are and what humans do.
Yeah.
We're always trying to get out of our heads, and that's a way that helps.
Oh yeah,
to some degree. Like I said, it comes with benefits. It comes with consequences, and it is a trade-off. But practically speaking, it should be one of those things that, if you are going to partake, it should be done responsibly, and it's can be difficult to do that if you find yourself in those situations. It's just so ubiquitous, you can get it everywhere. It's too easy to come by. And a lot of people have a problem with that, myself included. It's very easy to overdo it.
Very much so. Especially, for me. I'll be honest with you, Joe. Like, any of the times that I overdrank, every time that I drank way more than I planned was every time. Like there was never a time. There was very, very times where like I want to get shit faced,
right,
and I'm going to do it. No, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, guys, hey, Ray, do you want a cocktail? Yeah, I'll take a Jet Pilot. God damn, that's really, really good. Do you want another one? Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Hey, I got this new rum. Would you want to try a shot of that?
Yes,
Yeah, I do.
do.
Yeah, I also got this one over here. And all of a sudden, I'm like 2-3 Jet Pilots in, and like 4 different shots of rum in front of me and stuff like that. I didn't plan on it, but it's one of those things where it's like, what happened for me as time went on, as I've gotten older, like once I joined the 50 Club, it's like, before it's like I would drink, you get the buzz on, and as long as I didn't like overdo it, it'd be kind of all right. The after effects would maybe I get sleepy, I'd be like, I'm getting tired or something like that. The sleeping was like touch and go, and sleeping would be like, I remember like I'd wake up a lot, But near the end, though, like for like the last 2 years or so, like say for you, we were drinking here, and I'd be drink. Well, I got into absinthe because when you were making like Mai Tais, I'm like, I want to drink some absinthe, so I was drinking some heavy stuff, and it was at a point where like while I was drinking, I felt like I was like killing myself. Like it was like every sip was like, oh, like I wasn't feeling good. Like not like I was going to throw up. I just felt like it was really taking its toll on my body.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, with the recovery stuff, it's obvious to me.
Yeah.
Just in the way I function the next day.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not what you would consider hungover. If I had a couple of drinks the night before, I'm going to be less productive. I'm going to be less sharp. I'm going to be less just. It's going to take me longer to get moving, get going, and get less stuff done throughout the day.
Yeah.
When I'm not drinking, it's a non-issue. I'm much more productive.
It's funny
without trying.
It's funny, Joe. When I came up with this idea to talk about this topic, what I thought the ultimate answer at least would at least be for me has actually kind of gone completely 180. The more we laid this down, and it's like I'm not going to be ignorant and deny anything. Yeah, it's like the buzz is part of the experience
for sure.
You're talking about like you're in a tiki bar and you got the music going and you have, you're drinking something that is made to chill you out. Yeah, that I can't deny that. I can't deny that at all, And when we're just like the question you said, it's sort of like, well, if you had 2 jet jungle birds in front of you and they both taste exactly the same, but one had alcohol, one didn't. The only reason why anyone would take the non-alcoholic one is because they couldn't or don't want to drink the alcohol that's in the other.
Yeah, I mean, and
or they had to drive.
There's plenty of good reason to not want to drink the alcohol. There's plenty of good reasons, but there's also plenty of good reasons to enjoy those flavors.
Yeah.
I just think that when there is the added benefit of kind of that mind altering aspect of the alcohol, that's on top of that is it's a bonus. It's an additional stuff. You can still very much enjoy a non-alcoholic cocktail and really like the flavor and the taste. But it's I'd be hard pressed to say that that's the experience. That's not what you're going for.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I'm going to be honest, it's like you're drinking sugar water.
Yeah.
You're literally drinking sugar water essentially at that point. Yeah, it's but all that being said, though, I don't miss the alcohol. I don't miss the buzz, though. I don't miss the buzz because when it comes to tiki, like I get a lot of comments. There's comments, on the social media stuff where people are like, yeah, what's the point with the whole straight edge tiki thing? Like, you know, isn't the cocktails the main factor of it? And it's like, yeah, it is a factor. But what the non-drinking for me has made me really hyper focus in on all the other aspects of the things that I love about tiki.
Well, I mean, you
than
can't
just the rum.
You can't deny that it's a much bigger culture than tiki in particular.
Yeah.
When it comes to the cocktail side, there's a lot more to that culture than just the drinks. You can't necessarily say that about all types of craft cocktail.
Yeah.
You know, in a lot of cases, the drinking is the purpose.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot more going on with tiki.
I think you're right, and yeah, it's you know, laying it out. It's like I don't miss the buzz, but I definitely, even just talking to right now, I realize, but that it is important for what it is. But that being said, if you're in a situation where you can't or don't want to drink, you can still enjoy tiki without it.